Sometimes the heaviest burdens are carried silently. Today, God reminds you to see the pain your son hides behind his smile. Your son has walked through storms alone, but God whispers, your love can now become his safe harbor. Tears may fall soon, but they are not signs of weakness. They are God's way of opening hearts to healing. A goodbye may be near, but God assures you, every silent struggle your son bore will be seen and honored. He has carried his sorrow quietly, fearing your disappointment. God says it is time to lift this weight together. God's message today: your son's pain is real, but your presence can be the light that breaks his darkness. Sometimes the bravest souls cry in silence. Today, God urges you to hear what has never been spoken. A tearful goodbye is near, yet it carries a sacred truth. God has been walking with him every step. He has carried this alone. But God reminds you, love shared is a burden halved. Today, your son may tremble with unspoken sorrow. God asks you to hold him before the goodbye arrives. Every silent tear is a prayer God has heard. Your son's struggle is not invisible to him. God whispers, even the strongest hearts need a hand to hold. Be that hand today. He's been carrying the weight of unseen battles. God says, let your compassion meet him now. A tearful goodbye may arrive, but with God's guidance, it can become a sacred moment of healing. He fears judgment, yet God reminds you, love without conditions can ease even the heaviest heart. Today, God asks you to see the son you thought you knew. His silent struggles speak volumes. The pain he's hidden is a testament to his strength. God urges you to honor it with presence and love. Even in his quiet suffering, God has been holding him close. Your love now can complete that circle. A goodbye may seem final, but God reminds you, reconciliation begins with awareness and tenderness. He has been brave, carrying storms alone. God asks you to let your embrace be his shelter today. Your son's silence has a story God longs for you to hear. Listen before tears fall. The tears you fear may come are God's way of washing wounds that have festered alone too long. He has fought battles unseen. God reminds you that love can be the healing sword. Sometimes silence speaks louder than words. God asks you to read between the lines of your son's heart. A tearful goodbye is near, yet God promises, even farewells can be filled with grace and understanding. Today, God whispers, your son's loneliness ends when your heart finally meets his. He has hidden his fears, carried burdens alone. God asks you to step into his solitude with love. Your presence now is more powerful than 1,000 apologies. God urges you to act with compassion. Tears are not weakness. They are God's way of cleansing hearts that have endured too much alone. A goodbye may be approaching, but God assures you that healing begins with seeing the unseen struggles. He has suffered quietly. God asks you to become the voice that validates his pain. Today, let God guide your heart to speak the words your son has longed to hear. He carries a storm inside that only your love can calm. God reminds you not to turn away. Even heroes cry alone. God urges you to meet him at the moment when tears are ready to fall. A tearful goodbye is not just an ending. It can be a sacred doorway God has prepared for you. Your son's burden is heavy, but God whispers, together it can be lightened with understanding and care. He may feel alone, but God reminds you, your love is the anchor in his raging sea. Today, God asks you to be brave enough to hold his pain, even if it scares you. The goodbye approaching is not final. God says your love can transform it into a blessing. He has carried this silently, fearing judgment. God asks you to replace fear with unconditional love. Your son's quiet suffering is sacred. God urges you to approach it with reverence and tenderness. Even the strongest hearts need witnesses to their pain. God calls you to be that witness today. A tearful goodbye may be near, but God reminds you the love you show now can heal decades of hurt. He has borne the weight alone. God asks you to finally step into his world with compassion. Your son's pain is real, his silence loud. God calls you to bridge the distance with empathy. Tears may come, but God assures you they are the seeds of new understanding between you. He has been fighting battles alone. God reminds you that your presence can turn fear into comfort. Today, God asks you to see the invisible scars your son has carried and to honor them. A goodbye approaches, but it does not have to be filled with regret. God whispers love can guide it. He has been brave alone. God urges you to bring courage, compassion, and patience into the moment. Your son's silence has been his shield. God asks you to melt it with empathy and understanding.